is create more feelings of dysfunction, though, dysfunctional feelings. And I say dysfunctional feelings, not to say the feeling itself is dysfunctional. Oh my gosh. There are no wrong feelings. All feelings are welcomed, even the low vibrational ones. But what makes a feeling dysfunctional is either our suppression of it. Oh my gosh. It makes it dysfunctional because of how we've misused it. It makes it dysfunctional because of how we've misused or misinterpreted the feeling. Okay, I'm jamming on this one. So if a feeling comes in, it just is, unless I misinterpret and misuse it, then it becomes a dysfunctional feeling. And who does that hurt? You and everyone else around you. It is not just you. There is collateral damage when we have dysfunctional or mismanaged feelings. Say it again. Are you with me? I know I'm talking to somebody. There is collateral damage when we have a dysfunctional or a mismanaged feeling. So our feelings are our responsibility. Our feelings are our responsibility, both to ourselves and to those around us, because hear me this. Those people in your life will experience. They will experience pain from your mismanaged feelings. Welcome to Ignite the Spark Within, a podcast designed to do just that. Ignite your spark within you. I'm your host, Sarah Malone, owner of Spark Fitness and Lifestyle Coaching and voted Yahoo Finance's top 10 female coaches to follow in 2021. I believe everyone has a fire inside them, a powerful purpose, a story waiting to be told, and everyone can uncover and unleash this power. Every day you have the choice to either let your experiences shape you or take control and use your experiences to shape the world around you. You were made to experience happiness, freedom, joy, purpose, love, passion, and abundance. Disrupt the status quo, think for yourself, and join forces with those around you doing the same. Join me for thought-provoking conversations along with the strategies needed in order to help you ignite your spark within. Okay, you guys, today's show I am extremely excited about and passionate about. Today, the episode is on the topic of feelings, and I'll explain more about that as we go. But yes, feelings as in emotions, feelings, emotional feelings. And so I'm excited because I know I'm bringing some truth today, and it may be hard and it may be real, but I'm about to slay it. And I know someone needs to hear this. So whoever I'm speaking to, I hope it finds you. I hope it reaches you. I know that it will implant itself in your being, in your soul, reaching your ears and reaching your heart. So I just ask that we go into this episode with an open mind, open ears, and open heart. And before we dive in, I would like to make a couple of announcements. First of all, I want to point out that none of my episodes are edited. I do not edit the content. I don't take things out. It's somewhat of a live experience. So you can hear that I get very authentic and real in these shows. And I do that on purpose. I do that because it creates a connection between you and I, the listener, and the speaker and the teacher. I also do it because it helps me to feel more authentic and genuine, and it helps the sharing to come through in a way that is actually channeled through me. And those of you that are tapped in to spirit know what I'm talking about. But if I can sit here and have a conversation with you rather than thinking about, editing certain parts out, or even editing those parts out that may feel conversational, to me, it takes away from the experience. It takes away from the teaching. It takes away from the learning. So I wanted to start this episode by saying that I flow with these, and I hope that you enjoy that process. I also want to point out a couple of things, cool things that are coming up, or that I've started offering in the in the present time, actually. I recently just launched a meditation ignition package. It's called Meditation Ignition because it truly does ignite something inside of us. These meditations I was doing live for free every Monday for a year straight. So that's 52 weeks in a row. I was doing live meditations that were channeled through me, and they were creating transformation that I was just not prepared for, and in a beautiful way. And so I decided to record these. These are available on my website. They're also available on any of my social media channels. If you just click the link in the bio, it's $47, and you receive 15 guided meditations that are literally designed to create transformation, ascension, and healing within you. You'll see what I mean when you buy the package, but they are not like sit and focus on your breathing. They are visual experiences, the guided imagery, and they will truly help you to resolve and let your subconscious mind fill in things that are very important and relevant to your healing journey. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I'm going to be launching an 8-week guided and live and interactive course, Mind, Body, Spirit. It is very immersive. It is very intensive. If your desire is to grow spiritually, mentally, and physically, this is the course for you. It is not for someone who is lackadaisical about their growth. It is for someone and people who are committed to their growth and who are ready to dive deep into it. I'm about to take people on an 8-week journey where we go to the trenches together. We go to the depths together. Allow me to be your guide in that process, because we can come out the other side healed, stronger, and with a more empowering alternative. The end result is the following: a more healed version of you, a more happy version of you, and a more clear version of you. You will have a very clear and direct vision and goals for your life, along with the removal of the emotional blocks that have been blocking you from doing this in the past. So consider yourself reignited at the end of this, course. And I just wanted to talk about that now. The wait list will be going open very soon. Please stay tuned for that. The last thing is the retreat, the women's retreat, March 1st. We still have 2 spots available. So if you are a husband and you want to gift your wife with something, or if you're a woman listening and this has been piquing your interest and you feel called to do some internal growth and connecting with other women, this retreat is for you. Please reach out to me. The links and the information is in the show notes above. And so before I continue rambling on, let us dive into this episode on feelings. I want to talk about feelings as a way to frame our discussion in an effort to self-love and peace. I think feelings get a bad rap, especially with men, and we can tend to get lost in this process. And so I want to talk about the importance in this episode. I want to talk about the importance of feelings. I want to talk about the ego states in which our feelings come up in. I want to talk about the purpose of feelings. I want to talk about the dangers of suppressing them, and also the dangers of getting stuck in them. I want to talk about the victim mindset versus curiosity mindset when it comes to our feelings. And I want to talk about the critical roles of our ego states as it pertains to our feelings. So let's dive in. This is a deep and can be murky waters. And you may not think that I could spend a full hour on talking about feelings, but trust me, I could probably talk for 2 hours on feelings. So let's start at the very beginning. Let's talk about the purpose of feelings. What are the purpose of feelings? when we think about ourselves in the world as human beings, everything we do is based around feelings. We either do or don't do things based on a feeling. We will either get out of bed and go to the gym in the morning based on a feeling. We will lash out at somebody based on a feeling. We will create something brand new based on a feeling. These feelings drive us. These feelings are put inside of us human beings, not only for creation, for being driven into action, but also to enjoy the depth of the human experience, right? Feelings. If we didn't have feelings, if we had a stance of neutrality in life, how fun would that be? How enjoyable would that be? So our feelings can range from high end of the spectrum, being happy, bliss, joy, excitement, to the low end of the spectrum, low. And when I say high and low, I mean vibrational status. High vibrating emotions would be laughter, joy, passion, love, peace. And low vibrating emotional states would be depression, anger, resentment, fear. Okay, so we range in these emotional states, and they allow us to experience a deeper way of living. Okay, we should be thankful for these feelings. Without a depth of sadness, we would not know the high reaches of joy. Without the depth of anger, we would not know the high reaches and the gift of gratitude. Okay. And so the purpose is not only to move us to action, but it's also to allow us to experience more, okay, to create a deeper well of living, a deeper living experience. And the third purpose for emotions and feelings is to teach us, to teach us and to guide us into growth. If we didn't have feelings, we would not be experiencing the full array of the human experience, which is a gift, which is actually a gift that even the angels and other gods don't get to experience. They don't have those emotional states. We do. So it's a gift, these feelings. And they're important for those very reasons. They're important because they show us where our compass either is pointed and needs to shift, or where we need to go. They are signals as to, first and foremost, and most importantly, understanding ourselves. Because without a deep level of understanding of ourself, we lack the ability and capability to understand others and the world. We also lack the ability to understand our place within that world. Should we lack the courage to understand our emotions when they come up? And we'll dive into that in a little bit. But what happens is feelings are scary. Well, they're scary when they're low vibrating emotions. And a lot of us have experienced pain. Am I wrong? We've experienced pain in the form of trauma. And trauma happens usually when we're younger, in our most programmable states, which is 0 to 7 years of age, when we are receiving the most programming. Okay, programming at a subconscious level. And this is happening because of feelings. Okay, things happen to us that we don't have the emotional tools or resources to handle at the time of them happening. We call that a trauma. From that point, we've shifted. Our compass shifts based on the trauma in order to protect us from the negative feeling. Oh my gosh, this is so good. It is all about protection. You see, the trauma happens. Your critical ego states, which I'll dive into along the way of this show, your critical ego states step up and say, I don't like this feeling. Okay, we need to get away from this. We need to make sure this never happens again. We need, oh my gosh. I know this is hitting someone right now. Okay, we need to make sure this never happens again. I don't want to feel this feeling. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. So what do? You then, oh my gosh, I'm about to go somewhere with this. You then form a belief. Okay, this feeling happens. It's uncomfortable. Then you form a belief. Let's give an example. Okay. Here's the example. Let's say, and this is a neutral example because it's going to be less offensive to those who are hearing this, who know that I'm talking about them or the deeper stuff. Okay, so we'll keep this one very light. So let's say a little girl is crying. Her mom's edgy, and her mom is lacking patience in this moment, and says to the girl in the middle of the store, she's crying, she's wailing, she wants something, right? She needs something. And her mom says something to her like, I don't have time for this. Okay. Pause for the cause. Because as a little girl, when you're crying because you need something, you automatically, first of all, you want it first from your mother. Okay. You want to know that your mother is going to be there for your needs. Okay. So I'm crying. I need something. I need it from mommy. Mommy says to me, though, I don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. As a little girl who does not have the emotional capability to reason or rationalize what she just said, what I heard was, we don't have time for you to feel sad. We don't have time to go into your feelings. Now that belief is formed in me. I grow up thinking people don't, oh my gosh, people don't have time for my feelings. My feelings don't matter. Look at that. Look at how quickly a belief was formed based on a feeling. Whoa. So where I've just gone with this is I've taken this from the topic of purpose and importance, and I've shifted it to application to show you how feelings run our lives. Feelings run our lives. We develop beliefs based on feelings. Oh my gosh. We develop beliefs based on feelings. We then operate our existence from those beliefs. Our biggest need is to be congruent with who we believe ourselves to be and what we believe about the world. We must confirm this belief. It's our soul mission. So if I have a belief, oh my gosh. So if I have a belief that my feelings aren't important, guess what type of relationships I'm going to find myself in? Guess what type of actions I'm going to take? I'm going to not be vulnerable. I'm going to be closed off to love and real vulnerable relationships. I'm going to find myself around toxic people that really don't give crap about me. All from that one feeling and that one belief. And by the way, I want to mention that that belief underlying, that belief was formed in order to protect us from the feeling that we didn't enjoy. Okay. Now that we're adults, we can understand this. We begin to paint the larger picture to understand this. And if we understand the process, then we can shift that to how is this applicable to me? How does this relate to me? What feelings did I become so uncomfortable in that I formed a belief that now it's dictating my entire existence. Oh my gosh. If we think about that process, that is scary. That is a beast. It can feel like a beast. Okay. Because you're like, well, okay, Sarah, I'm on board, but like, what do you want me to do? Deconstruct my entire existence and my entire life? No, no, because resolution doesn't always mean destruction. Okay, I'm going to say that again. This truth will hit you really deep if you know what I'm talking about. Resolution does not always mean destruction. Oh my gosh. Let me break that down. Resolution of the feeling or the dysfunction or the dysfunctional belief does not necessarily mean destruction of yourself, your life, or the people around you. It may, if that is what's required. Okay. And you'll know that. But if anything, oh my gosh, that resolution, okay. If your fear is that if you dive into those feelings and you recognize that they're illusions and that they're formed on false beliefs, and you must change your belief, and your fear is that by changing that belief, it's going to cause destruction of your life, you will find that as you resolve your feelings that then resulted in dysfunctional beliefs, that by resolving those, they actually eliminate your fear because they enhance those things in your life. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I knew we were going for truth today, but whew. So what I mean to say is that usually people avoid, okay, here we go. People avoid going to the depths of their feelings and the source of them. Like, where did this come from? Where did this come from? They avoid these for two reasons. Number one, they're afraid of where it might take them, which may result in going right back to that painful moment. And they don't want to feel that again, running. Okay. Or they avoid going there because they think or they fear that resolving that will lead to an entire shift of their life. And that's scary too. Okay. Again, though, I want to pause for the cause and say all of that is based on another feeling. It's all based on a feeling. I'm not doing that because of how it makes me feel. I'm not doing that because I'm scared to go back into that feeling, or I'm not doing that because I'm scared of how changing my life will make me feel. I'm not scared of changing my life. No one's scared of changing anything or doing anything. They're scared of how they will feel about it. I'm going to pause and say that again. You are not scared of what will happen to you. You are scared of how you will feel about it. And feelings, oh my gosh, I'm about to go here. Feelings are choices. Oh my gosh, I got to break this one down. Feelings are choices. Choices come from how we frame something, how we look at it, what lens. And again, this comes back to beliefs. So if something happens to, oh my gosh, this is full circle now. Something happens to me and I believe, okay, if someone says, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I believe, I take that in, and I believe it's because they don't like me and I'm not good. I believe it's because I'm not good, I'm not worthy, I wasn't good enough, I didn't do something right. Okay, that belief is going to cause a feeling of probably sadness, depression, unworthiness, lack of confidence, defeat. That feeling, though, was a choice. The situation didn't make me feel that way. How I looked at it made me feel that way. Should I have chosen to, okay, let's rewind. I don't want to be your friend anymore. Should I choose to say, you know what? That friendship really wasn't aligned for me anyways. And I gained so much out of that friendship. And I know that I've been doing a lot of growing. I understand that maybe that's just, we just shifted away. I would probably have a neutral feeling in regards to it, maybe even a positive one. And I would go on about my way feeling just fine. Okay. So it's not the thing that happens to us. It is how we choose. It's all choices. How I choose to feel about it. Most of the time, oh my gosh, most of the time, our most troublesome feelings come from things that have never happened to us, but we either anticipate, oh my gosh, we either anticipate them or fear them. And because we know what feeling that would bring, should something happen, we course correct in a way, oh my gosh, that is overcompensation. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Yep, I'm going to say this one again. Most of our most troublesome feelings come from things that never happened yet. We either anticipate them or we fear them happening. And we fear them because of the emotion that we think that situation would bring us. And so we course correct in a way that is called overcompensation. Okay, let that land, let it land, let it land. I am vibing today. Let it land because that is very important. What the course correction in the form of overcompensation does is suppresses the true you even more. So let's dive into. There are two ways to this suppression brings me to the topic of do we suppress or do we get flooded? Okay, these are the two extremes. When we're dealing with emotions, we must first understand their purpose and importance, which I just laid out in detail. And you can probably understand now the reason why these are so important, because feelings will move us to action, both good and bad. If we understand our feelings, we know how they're driving us. If we know how they're driving us, we can take the steering wheel and we can say, okay, anger really gets me motivated to do shit. Okay, what do I want to do? How will I use my anger? Okay, we'll break that down in a moment. But feelings, for instance, this feeling, I have this internal feeling of determination, of urgency, of drive for humanity. Okay. This feeling is so strong in me that I literally put out a vibration to the world and it drives me into action, like dedicated, focused, my head is down, determinated. I don't think that's a word. Determination, that which comes in the form of action. Like I go out and get it. Okay. This is what I'm saying. That's why feeling is so important, because it moves us to do what the creator wants us to do. At least it should. If you have a discontent for something in the world, that's a feeling. And that's meant to move you, to get you up out of your chair and go passionately create. Okay, let's talk about the extremes. We have on one side, suppression. We have on the other extreme, flooded. Okay, being flooded by your emotions. And then this looks like someone who goes into a deep, dark depression, or an angry burst. Okay, an outrage. Okay, so let's talk about suppression first. What often comes up in these critical ego states, which I will share a little bit of knowledge with you. In hypnotherapy, we learn all about the ego states. Okay, there's the child ego state, there's the parent ego states, and they each have critical roles. And critical meaning important. Okay, critical meaning important. However, parent roles of the ego state, which live in all of us, can be very critical. So when I talk about the critical ego states, I'm talking about the parent critic. The parent critic ego state would tell you, you shouldn't feel that way. You should be doing this. You should be stronger. Get up, fight some more, brush it off. No time to cry. This is the critical parent. Okay. And this is the critic that gets created in all of us inevitably at some point or another. Which shames our child ego state. Our child ego state is the one who wants to feel. It wants to feel, it wants to grow, it wants to enjoy. And by the way, I talk a lot about this in a deeper way in my upcoming course. If this is piquing your interest, we go into this in a deep, deep dive to discover what ego states are at play within you, because it's very important. It's very important. It's very important that we understand ourselves at depth. And the only way to do that, guys, is to go into those feelings and know that, like, it's okay. It's okay to feel. It's okay to feel. Now, we all understand it's okay to feel, but doing it is another story. So this critic ego state that I'm going to call the parent ego state, says when a feeling comes up, no, we don't want to feel that feeling. So it pushes it down, it rationalizes it, or it tries to make you feel bad about that somehow your sadness is a weakness, that somehow your anger is because of you. When we suppress these emotions, what happens is they get stuck. They get stuck inside of us, but they also close us off. Okay. And we begin to operate in a way that is inconsistent with how we were created. I'm going to say that again. When we suppress our emotions, they get stuck inside, and we begin to operate in a way that is inconsistent with the way we were created. And let me just say this, because of the fact that we're all living this human experience, we all are living in ways that are inconsistent with how we were created. This is okay. This journey that we're on is not about completion. It's about optimization. Oh my gosh. It is not about perfection or completion. It is about optimization. Because in that stance of optimization, there's always more. There's always more. And in that stance of optimization, there's also no acceptance for where you are right now. That's not to say, that I'm not grateful for where I am today, or you're not grateful for where you are today. But that takes you out of the chair of saying, well, I'm good enough. I've done enough work on myself. I feel pretty good. That is the optimate. That is the opposite of optimization. And so where I'm trying to lead us here is to understand not only the dangers of suppressing, But the dangers then, if we swing it all the way to the other end, of flooding. And flooding can look a little bit like the victim mindset. The victim mindset sits in, I've phrased it this way in videos before, and I'm sorry for getting real with you, but it's like sitting in your poopy diapers. It's sitting in your poopy diapers. It's like you feel that feeling of sadness, and you sit there and feeling sorry for yourself and hoping that others will also feel sorry for you too. And again, this is a way to get another feeling, okay? Because if somebody feels sorry for you, you in some way feel loved. You feel acknowledged. You feel important. You feel significant. These needs that we have, they all just come down to feelings. And so we can acknowledge our feelings without being flooded by them. We can acknowledge our feelings without having them all come in at once, which I could provide an example of my own journey, this most recent journey of mine, moving to an entirely new state where I know virtually no one, brought about a season, a process of grieving that I was not prepared for. Okay, this is how growth usually happens. You're not prepared for it. So I find myself in this process of grieving, and I found myself being flooded by a bunch of different emotions that I had no idea where they were coming from. Why do I feel this? Why do I feel that? Why do I feel that? Now, I could have drowned in that. I could have drowned in that. And frankly, there were moments when I was scared that I was. But because I have a spirit of, I am not sitting in my poopy diapers, I'm not sitting in this, like my purpose, again, a feeling, the feeling of my purpose had called me to a point where I was like, this is not your end. This is not your destination. You figure this out. I'm going to go through this. Okay. The only way though, the only way to get out of the flooded waters is to be in it and swim. Oh my gosh. Who am I speaking to? The only way to get out of the flooded waters is to be in it. First of all, recognize you're in it. You can't see the shore if you're not willing to look at the water. I don't know where that came from. You can't see where you're swimming unless you're willing to look at the water in front of you. So I had to start swimming one stroke at a time. One stroke, two stroke, three stroke. And before you know it, I'm wading in the water. I'm not swimming. I'm just wading. I'm like, okay, at least I'm not drowning anymore, right? I'm still in this space. I'm still in this place. And you know what? That process, the helicopter's not coming to get me. No one's coming to save me. I got to swim. I got to be in this water. Drowning would be to stop swimming and just let the feelings just crush you and take you under. Okay. But that middle ground and then suppressing it would be like, I'm not drowning. I'm not drowning. No, no, I don't feel any of this. I don't feel that anger. I don't feel that sadness. I don't feel that wave. No, the wave doesn't exist. I'm a rock. I am a rock. I am solid. I'm stone. That's a lie. It's just lies. It's just lies. You're just lying to yourself to make yourself feel better, to make yourself feel better. So acknowledging, holy crap, I'm in some deep, deep waters right now. Okay, I'm going to wade. I'm going to keep my head above water. And I'm going to say, what is going on? Where is this feeling come from? Where is this feeling come from? Where is this feeling coming from? And as soon as I start to do that, the waves start to simmer and I begin to see again the shoreline, the refuge, the grounded place. And I say, there, that's where I want to go. This is where I swim. Let me swim through this. Let me sift through. Let me understand the anger. Let me understand the sadness. Let me feel it. I'm in this water. Let me feel it. Let me really feel it. Because when I feel it, I become curious about it. And curiosity is the cure to the victim mindset. Curiosity says, what is this here to show me? What is this here to teach me? Curiosity says, where did this feeling begin? What belief, these are great questions to write down, by the way, those note takers out there. I know y'all love to take notes. You send them to me. I love seeing those, by the way. Where is this coming from? Where did I first develop this feeling? What belief, great question, what belief did I form at that moment? And you know what you find in this place of swimming in deep, deep waters is you find a lot of understanding. You also find compassion and love for yourself. You find compassion for the fact that you're just a sensitive, deep, caring individual who was hurt. You develop a love for yourself, a genuine, pure love that says, man, you've been so hard on yourself. You've been so hard on yourself. It's okay that you were hurt by so-and-so, that hurt you. It's okay that you are sad. Let me just feel that sadness with you and understand, like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense why you're sad. And then you say, what new beliefs? What new beliefs can I form based on what I now know to be true? Or rather, what I now know to be at least false. Because the belief you formed at that point, that intersection, which you will discover, and if you don't, I'm here to help with that too. You know, what belief now did I form at that juncture that now I know is not true? And maybe you don't even get that far. Maybe you just get to the point where you're like, wow, no wonder I've been like living this way. No wonder I've make the decisions that I make, because I formed that belief. And let me just point out by saying, whatever fear of change or feeling that you have is, first of all, an illusion, because it's never the way that you anticipate it or fear it to be. But second of all, the pain and discomfort of staying where you are far supersedes the potential pain of you feeling your feelings. See, we're only scared because it's the suspense. I've used this analogy before. I walked into a tattoo shop and a woman was in there getting her first tattoo. And just the anticipation of what it would feel like when the needle touched her body was like enough to make her anxiety. She was pacing, sweating, heavy breathing, almost to the point of an anxiety attack, which an anxiety attack, by the way, is just rapid breathing. Get that. And thoughts and rapid thoughts. But as soon as she got down on that table and the process began, like all of that stopped because she was doing it. She was doing it. So that fear, that anxiety, that feeling comes because you're not taking action, which is the whole point of feelings in the first place, bringing it back to the beginning of this episode, that one of the main purposes is to move you to action. A feeling of love comes in. It moves you to act, to hug, to kiss, to share that love with someone. A feeling of joy comes in. It moves you to an action, to laugh, to smile, to move in a certain way, to share, to invite, to be. A feeling of anger comes in. It moves you to act in a way that says, this is my boundary, or in a way that says, this is my mission. A feeling of sadness comes in, and it moves you to cry, to mourn, to understand, or to say, no, I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. Or it moves you towards your mission and your purpose. I'm going to tell you two things personally about myself. There is an anger and a deep, deep sadness within me. That is what drives me every day in the direction of my purpose and my mission. That anger and sadness is for the state of humanity. The sadness is for the state of humanity and the despair that they're in. The anger comes towards the evil and darkness forces in the world that exist purely to destroy mankind. Okay. So my righteous anger for the forces that are at work to destroy the human spirit, coupled with my deep sadness for when people are in pain and despair and lost, drives me to action in the form of work, presence, purpose, writing, sharing, creating. If I don't understand the full array and importance of emotions, I may just feel that anger and that sadness and drown in it. And I will feel very uncomfortable and like there's a discord in my soul. It will feel like something is churning, burning, turning, and ripping inside of me. But instead of being used, it's tearing me apart. And eventually, one can only take the tearing apart feeling for so long before they either act on it or deny it, which is another form of numbness. But they deny that it's there, like, well, someone else is doing it already, so I don't really need to be doing that. Like, it's going to be taken care of. I've got family and other things to be taken care of, so I'm living my purpose, kind of. Or it's like, no way, no. I can't do that. Like, I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not that special. I'm not that talented. So no, I'm going to deny the fact that you're called to something great. Sitting on that egg while it's hatching underneath you. Okay. So feelings are everything. Feelings is how all humans operate. And as much as we don't want to admit that, because we say, I'm not controlled by my feelings. We are. But the encouragement here would be to say, you are not controlled by your feelings, or at least you don't have to be. You can be driven. You should allow your feelings to drive you. If, oh my gosh, if we understand the role and the cause of our feelings, they are one of the best directors in our life, apart from God and source itself. Okay. So not all of us can hear source clearly yet. And so our best next step is using our feelings to communicate to us where we should be going, what direction. If somebody says something to me and I feel a feeling of anger, why did I feel that anger? But if I just move on and say, get over it, get over the anger, just move on, just move forward. And I don't stop, if I don't pause for the cause and say, what made me angry about that? You dive into it a little further and you realize, oh, that was a narcissistic behavior towards me. And that was a direct insult to my intelligence. Somebody says something to you, you pick it. You pick this scenario, plug yourself in and say, why did I just get so angry? Now, some of the time, somebody cuts you off on the road and you get angry. It's like, okay, that's still a signal, probably more towards your patience and understanding that like shit happens, get over it, in a non-critical way, but it's like, it's a signal. So, oh my God, like one time, something really silly set me off and I'm like, oh my, where are you? What state are you in? Check yourself, Sarah. You're a little bit raw. You didn't need to pop off like that. That was not warranted. So what's going on? And then you sit back and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm taking on too much right now. I'm just taking on too much right now. I'm in a frantic state that anything's going to set me off. So I need to chill. I need to take my foot off the gas. I need some rest. Hey, but if you don't do that discovery, you don't know that you need that rest. So you just keep going and say, well, they did this and they did this. And then it becomes this whole tornado that escalated from what was really you needing to chillax and take a rest, became everybody else's fault. And that everybody else is stupid. And this, like, it's your world and they're just living in it. Okay. So awareness of our feelings is so important. And like these topics are so truthful that they hit and you feel that in your spirit go, yes, yes. That's when you know it's truth. So let's recap here. And first, the importance and purpose of feelings. And those were as follows. Number one, to enhance our human experience. It's a gift. Feelings, emotions are gifts from our Creator in order to help us experience a deeper level of living here on this earth plane while we're here. Number 2, they are directors. They direct us into the direction that we are to go. And number 3, they move us to action. Feelings move us to action. And if we're not careful, they will move us to destructive action. If we are aware and conscious beings, which is what my prayer that this podcast is helping you to become more conscious, more aware, more loving, more honest. Because let's be real, honesty is hard. Some of these truths that I share on my show, which you guys reach out about, they are hard. They are not only hard to say, they are hard to hear. And when I say hear, I mean, and if you're not watching this and you're just listening on Spotify or Apple, you could see me almost hugging myself. When I say hear, listening, I mean to take it in, to take it into your being and not just listen. Okay. So that third purpose is to drive us to action, and becoming consciously aware, we are able to allow that drive to produce fruitful actions. Okay, we talked about the two ends of the spectrum being extreme. In one case being suppressing our feelings and shoving them down and having that critical voice in our head that says you should be stronger than this. You shouldn't feel this way. You should be able to do that. All right. And actually, to further on that briefly, all that does is create more feelings of dysfunction, though, dysfunctional feelings. And I say dysfunctional feelings, not to say the feeling itself is dysfunctional. Oh my gosh. There are no wrong feelings. All feelings are welcomed. even the low vibrational ones. But what makes a feeling dysfunctional is either our suppression of it. Oh my gosh. It makes it dysfunctional because of how we've misused it. It makes it dysfunctional because of how we've misused or misinterpreted the feeling. Okay, I'm jamming on this one. So if a feeling comes in, it just is, unless I misinterpret and misuse it, then it becomes a dysfunctional feeling. And who does that hurt? You and everyone else around you. It is not just you. There is collateral damage when we have dysfunctional or mismanaged feelings. Say it again. Are you with me? I know I'm talking to somebody. There is collateral damage when we have a dysfunctional or a mismanaged feeling. So our feelings are our responsibility. Our feelings are our responsibility, both to ourselves and to those around us, because hear me this, those people in your life will experience pain from your mismanaged feelings. I got to step away from this mic. Somebody take this mic away from me. So our feelings are not only a gift, but they are our responsibility. And is our responsibility, what is the responsibility? To own them. Own them. Okay. Don't let them own you. That would be the flooding side perspective. But own your feelings. Acknowledge them. Let them come in. Let yourself feel them. Let yourself discover them. Because when you do that, you're a clean slate-ish. You know, none of us are perfect. But you're a clean slate in order to operate out of a place of pure love more of the time. That's the goal, to operate, oh my gosh, to operate out of a place of pure love more of the time, more frequently, more consistently. Will we stay there all the time? No. That's the point of feelings. That's the point of the array that I expressed to you. It's like, how quickly can we become aware, understand, and resolve our feelings will directly indicate and dictate how quickly we come back to pure love. And this is why it's so important, because if we look at this from a macro perspective, the ideal would be more of heaven on earth. And we know that all there is in heaven is love with a capital L. And so if we desire, which I'm pretty sure if you're listening to my show, you desire this. If you desire to experience more, oh my gosh, you desire to experience more of heaven on earth, then your goal would be to operate out of a place of pure love more frequently. And in order to operate out of a place of pure love more frequently, you must embrace your feelings. You must be able to ride the waves, both the peaks and the troughs. You must be able to sit in the sadness and say, I feel you. I feel you. And it's okay. And now, dear child, talking to yourself, what will you do? What will you do with this sadness? It's okay. What do you choose to do? And if you really sit in that space and be honest, what you'll find is you will choose to do something that is based in purpose. You will feel that sadness. When I was a young girl, when I was a young girl, I felt the sadness of not feeling seen. And that sadness produced a desire in me to see others. And that is why when people meet me, they say, I feel seen. But if I didn't allow myself to feel that sadness, then all I would be is depressed and sad. Our feelings provide purpose for us. Deep, deep purpose. Without that sadness and the discontent that it created in me as a young child, would I have such a deep desire to help humanity? I have such a deep desire to connect with people, to make sure that they feel seen and heard and loved. Would I? I don't know. But I know that that feeling produced that in me. And what is it for you? What was the feeling? What is the feeling? What is the feeling that you're either avoiding? Because all that really is, guys, is the truth. It's just the truth. You're just avoiding the truth by avoiding or trying to somehow convince yourself that you don't feel something or that you won't revisit a feeling because of the pain that it brings. You're just avoiding the truth. And the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. And when we're able to open ourselves up to the truth, meaning the truth of how we feel, how we felt, and revisiting a pain in order to put our beliefs to the test, to say, do I still need this? Does this still hold true for me? That's the truth. And that is where you'll find your healing, your love, your freedom, and your fulfillment, because fulfillment comes from purpose, not achievement. I'm going to say that again. Fulfillment comes from purpose, not achievement. Achievement brings you things. Fulfillment brings you feelings. And what a beautiful circle of life it is. Guys, I could talk about feelings, like I said, for 2 hours. I've been here for an hour talking feelings with you, and I feel like we just scratched the surface. But it's so important because, and honestly, I was not always this way. I was a runner. I fought fire with fire. And it got me to great places in life, achievement wise. But it also got me to feelings that were not always in line with what I believe as it pertains to freedom and love and joy. So did it get me achievement? Yes. It didn't get me the feelings I want in life. And so I learned to be kind with myself, to be kind, but to hold a high standard. And so if you take nothing else away from this show today, which I highly doubt that, but this, it's to do this. When you think of your relationship with yourself, be kind, but have a high standard. Be kind and hold yourself to that standard. And if you can't hold yourself to that standard because of emotional mess that you're currently in, then have people in your life that will hold you to that standard in a kind way. Okay. If you're kind and you hold yourself to a high standard, you should also have kind, high standard people in your life who are going to hold you to that high standard, but not in a way that's like, get up, dude, get off your butt. Maybe that's needed sometimes. Maybe you need a good swift kick in the butt to get you up. Okay. But what I'm saying is surround yourself with people who are kind while they remind you of who you are. They're kind, but they hold you to that high standard. I'm done. I'm going to wrap it up. But I do want to say this. A lot of people say they're not afraid of their feelings, but when push comes to shove, you really surprise yourself by your own fear of feeling things. And then that causes a feeling too. A feeling of like, you little, weakling. So be careful, be kind, go slow, and reach out. Reach out. I'm here. It's what I do for a living. But, and I've also have a community. If you want to just become a part of the community, please reach out. It's free to be a part of the community. And I've created this community outside of social media, by the way, because social media is another form of, well, darkness, but it's also too monitored. And so if you find yourself at a place where you need a community to plug into that's filled with growth-minded people, by the way, this is for growth-minded people. This is not for people who just want to spew their feelings, because feelings ain't about that. I just shared that. It's not about that. Feelings is for growth. So if you have an interest, please reach out. It's free to be a part of the community. And we just need to come around each other more. We need to come around each other more. And we need to come around ourselves more. Stop looking outside of ourselves for feelings or places to get feelings. You choose your feelings. You do the work. Sit in a silence of your own mind. Silence your mind and open your heart. Ram Dass says this so beautifully, and he just says it on repeat. Quiet the mind, open the heart. Quiet the mind, open your heart. Quiet the mind, open your heart. So, quiet the mind, open your heart. Feelings, important place in our life, a gift, an indicator. And if you're feeling like you're drowning, my door is open. And if you are suppressing, my door is also open. But just know that I will give you the truth. and the truth will set you free. I love you all. I'll talk to you on the next show. And in the meantime, I am also looking for, if you are a regular listener to my show, you will have listened this far. But also, I want to put this out there as an opportunity, an outreach to say I will be doing some episodes with some live coaching hypnotherapy. Some live hypnotherapy therapy sessions, and I'll be sharing them with you all. I am looking for volunteers. If you are open to sharing your therapy session, I will be offering this to you for free, and you will also be then featured on the show with me going through your session. So if you are interested in this, in receiving a free therapy session and being featured on my show, please email me, sarah@sparkflc.com. My email's in the show notes as well. But I would like to share some of these sessions with you guys because they are so powerful. It is to help bring more awareness to the power of hypnotherapy. And it's also because when we share our own journey, it always inspires someone else. So if you're interested, please email me. With so much love, you guys. I will talk to you in the next show. And be well, and please reach out. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Ignite the Spark Within. If this podcast brought you value, or you think it would bring someone else value, please hit that share button. My mission is to reach and help as many people as I possibly can. And you just never know who could use that one good piece of information. And hey, if you have any topics, discussion questions, or ideas for future episodes, you can reach me directly at sarah@sparkflc.com and just write podcast in the subject line. And if you haven't already, please rate the podcast on your favorite podcast channel. This helps bring awareness to the show. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you're alerted for all future episodes. Please go ahead and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're interested in pursuing coaching for yourself, you can visit sparkflc.com for more information.